Hi, I'm Michelle. Welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this video, I want to talk about leasing a car. Not leasing it for vacation or on holiday, but as an alternative to buying a car that is going to be your personal vehicle to use for your transportation. When you lease a vehicle, you are signing a contract. Similar to when you buy a vehicle, you're going to pay a down payment, and some of those are disclosed up front based upon the type of vehicle. Then you're going to pay a monthly amount. The lease will have a term, which is a set period of months or years, and at the end of that term, you give the car back to the place that you leased it from. Usually it's a car dealership. Often leased vehicles are brand new vehicles, and it's a way for people to drive a new car at a lesser amount than they would have to pay if they bought the car. In other words, you need to be approved for the lease and you need to pay a down payment, but it's not the same as when you go to buy a car where you're getting a loan to pay the whole amount. So you're still going to pay a monthly amount. The lease payment is going to likely be much less than the monthly payment would be to buy a car, especially if it's brand new. However, there are other charges that you need to be aware of to consider whether or not you really want to lease or go ahead and buy the car, or buy a used car or something that you can pay cash for and not have to worry about the payments. So in addition to the monthly lease payment, you will be paying a down payment, which is a lump sum of cash based upon the overall value of the car, and that will be paid to the company that you're leasing it from. That is not refundable. Your monthly payments are for the use of the car. That is not refundable. You will pay for your own gas and you will pay for your own insurance. In the lease contract, they usually have requirements on what your insurance limits will be. For lower deductibles and higher coverage amounts, you're going to pay a higher insurance premium than you might have otherwise. And that is to make sure that you have the insurance to cover the cost of the car in case something happens to it, because it's not your car. You don't own it. It belongs to someone else. You will pay for the registration of the car, and the title of the car will remain with the dealership or the party who is leasing it to you. You will pay for the tags and the license plate just as if it was your car. So while it's not yours, you will still pay for those costs. And then the biggest charge that you might not think about but that you really need to look at is the charge that you might have to pay when you surrender it. At the end of the lease, you have a choice. You can turn it back over to the place that you leased it from. At that point, they will look at the mileage on the car. If your mileage amount, when you turn it back in at the end of the lease, is more than what you agreed to drive it, and usually I think it's 15,000 miles a year, then you have a per mile charge that you have to pay when you surrender it. The other option is at the end of the lease, you can buy the car. So if you think you might want to buy the car at the end of the lease, check to see, does your down payment then get applied? Or what is the amount that they're going to have you pay for the car at the end of the lease? And if this is a vehicle that has been out in the marketplace for a while, so they have other additions and others of this car, look and see if you have for example, a 2-year lease or a 3-year lease, what is the price that they're going to charge you to buy it at the end of the lease, and then go and look at the Blue Book or NADA and see how much are those going for, and is it a good deal? Would it be better for you to start out with a brand new car and work your way through the lease and then buy it at that point? Or would it be better to just go and buy an older model now? So those are the economic realities. Now, some people, when they have a lease and they're getting close to their mileage because they moved far away, or they all of a sudden changed their job and they have to drive in their job, and they're going to go over the miles and they don't want to pay that penalty, they will park it in the garage. And because another cost is, if you want to terminate the lease early, there's a fee for that as well, and sometimes you can't terminate it early. So you park the car in the garage and then you have to go and get another vehicle so that you don't incur the over mileage limit expense. So these are the considerations that you should check into before you lease a car. It could be really attractive to look in the paper and see that you can get a really nice car for $100 or $200. And maybe that's good for you, and you don't want to have the overall expense and maintenance. You want to always have a car that has warranty and that has everything covered, and maybe that's a good way for you to do it, and you're just going to drive it that set amount of miles and turn it in and get another one, and you don't want to own a car. But if the cost overall is going to be more than what it would be if you did buy a car, that's really where you weigh it to decide which way is going to be best for you. I hope that this was helpful. If you know somebody who might be able to use this information, please share it with them. And if it was helpful for you, give us a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time.